Hey everyone, for history today we are continuing with the second half of 1942 and the events that took place during that time in World War II. So just a quick recap. Yesterday we talked about the first half of 1942. We talked about the Wannsee Conference and Hitler's plans to eradicate the Jewish race and Reinhard Heydrich's plan to carry that out for Hitler. Next, we talked about Japanese internment camps in the western part of the United States. And today we are going to pick up with a meeting that took place between Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin in Moscow. By 1942, the British had been fighting this war for 2 long years, and they had been experiencing food shortages, and we talked about them shipping their children out of London into the countryside. So life was pretty hard for Britain, and they were stretched pretty thin. They were fighting the war in France, they were fighting in Italy, they were fighting in Africa, and they were sending supplies to Russia to help Stalin fight the Germans who were advancing on Stalingrad. So the British were stretched pretty thin, and Stalin was wanting more and more support from them that the British really couldn't give at that point in time. So Churchill decided to go to Moscow to meet with Stalin to try and appease him and keep him happy and let him know what the plans were for the future so that Stalin would understand and would lessen his demands. Didn't really work. Stalin kept demanding things, but it did make things better. One of the things that Churchill told Stalin about at that meeting was Operation Torch. It was a plan to invade North Africa with fresh American troops. Remember, this is summer of 1942. The Americans had just been in the war for about 6 months at this point. So they were going to invade North Africa and wipe out Hitler's troops there, and then be able to focus on France and on Russia. So I've linked to a video about that meeting because it gives a lot of great detail, and it's got pictures and videos of the actual meeting. So I figured it would be better for y'all to watch that than just hear me telling you about it. So watch that video on the meeting between Churchill and Stalin, and then I want you to continue with your research project. So remember, it can be anything that happened in 1942, 43, 44, or 45. I'd love to see what you've learned about it so far. So if you want to FaceTime me or send me a video of you telling me about it, I want to actually hear your voice explaining what you have learned about your topic. So it doesn't have to be a ton of information. It doesn't have to be great. I just want to know what you have learned so far. So it doesn't have to be edited and perfect or anything. Just give me a few random facts and what you think is interesting about the topic that you chose. I miss you guys. I hope y'all are having an awesome week. Bye.